Bloomberg did an assessment of his tax cuts. You know, that blew an $8 trillion hole in the debt ceiling in 2016, 2017 that we're still living with. Bloomberg says tax cuts would cost more than almost all federal agencies. His tariff plan would add $524 billion in additional costs for U.S. Americans and reduce jobs by 684,000. That's a third party, not Donald Trump or Democrat looking at that.
By the way,
that's not good for the economy.
To be clear, Joe Biden has kept all of Donald Trump's tariffs in place. He hasn't touched them. Kamala Harris hasn't touched them. And Kamala Harris, I mean, every administration, they blow through debts and deficits. That's not stopping anytime soon.
So to build off what you just said about the tariffs, I would like to see the reaction from the voters that Trump is trying to maintain support from, which are those folks that buy a lot of their goods from stores like Walmart, for example, where a lot of those goods are made overseas in China. So they're going to see those prices. We're talking about lowering inflation costs. Those prices are going to absolutely start to increase under a Trump plan, and I don't think anyone wants to see that.
You don't. We don't know what prices are going to do.
But most economists,
there's analysts and economists saying that's exactly what's going to happen.
Is it not?
I've looked at the research.
Is it not a fair question to ask, if Trump couldn't do it in 2017, why do we believe he's going to do it now?
Completely unfair.
How so?
He did the things he said he was going to do the first time around. He did lower the taxes on this country.
He did lower
the corporate tax rate. Of course, he did bring jobs back. He did all those things. Now what he's saying is, in the second term, I'll do even more of those things. There is nothing wrong with that. What Kamala Harris is saying is basically, look, I know I ruined everything for you guys the first time around. You're paying more for gas and for groceries. The border's wide open. There are wars breaking out all over the world. You like that? I'm going to make it even worse the second time. So she's doubling down on policies that really hurt the American people. As far as the government's concerned, it's adorable that you think for 2 seconds that these economists and these people can predict all these things. Yeah, it was the 51 intel agencies, of course, that told us the Hunter Biden laptop was, of course, fake. Now these same economists who the first time around said that the Trump tax cuts would cost us $2 trillion for the federal government actually gained $1.58 billion because of his tax cuts. This is so obviously simple for the Donald Trump campaign to point to where are you now versus where were you then.
But they didn't put...
Hogan's exactly right. These policy points put out during a campaign are starting points of negotiations. Donald Trump succeeded in his negotiations of lowering tax rates for all Americans. I'm a believer in the Laffer curve. Lower taxes.
Oh, you're going Laffer curve on me.
It's true.
Okay,
it's true. After Reagan and after Bush tax cuts, we saw government revenue go up and growth go up. We talk about prices. Prices will go down when there's more competition in the market. We will not put Soviet-style price controls on businesses, which will hurt the American economy. It's two completely different visions for this country. Less government, more government.
Do you want Elon Musk in the United States government?
In the capacity that he mentions, absolutely.
You want Elon Musk in the United States government?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because you're talking about a government that every year loses about $70 billion in Medicare fraud, $100 billion they admitted to in COVID relief fraud. There's so much bloat and waste in the government. That's one thing. But the fraud that exists in this federal government costs us trillions every year.
Not trillions.
If this guy can get to the bottom of it, or at least make a big chunk out of it, absolutely. Why would you not want the government to run more efficiently?
He cannot serve in the government in any way, shape, or form because he's got huge conflicts. He's got these huge government contracts, and he's got to either put them in a blind trust or give up the company or do something. Right. So that's just a pipe dream.
And absolutely, I think this is just Trump trying to put lipstick on a pig once again by adding people like Elon Musk, who you heard what he said. Isn't he smart? Isn't he this? And isn't he that? He's lost the value of Twitter's gone down 71% since he purchased it.
Put a man in space in under 5 years.
And under the Kamala tax plan,
and so that qualifies him serving the government.
Hold on, time out. There's a lot to get to with Elon Musk. Obviously, you can't deny whether you like what he's done with Twitter or not. One of the greatest entrepreneurs of our time, though. He is obviously someone you could talk about all day.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.